You said it was on video. So was that person charged?
I don't know.
You don't know? You're telling me that there's massive fraud and it's caught on video and you can't tell me whether it was real or not?
We can look into
whether the person was charged or not?
I really hope he was charged. But how many instances were not caught on camera?
But hold on.
I didn't have cameras.
Hold on, Emily.
A heated exchange on CNN turned into one of the most talked about moments of the night after MAGA commentator Emily Austin faced off with Abby Phillip, Charles Blow, and Ashley Allison during a panel discussion. The conversation quickly became tense as Austin defended her position, while the rest of the panel pushed back, creating a debate that many viewers found both dramatic and entertaining. After watching the entire exchange, I had plenty of thoughts about how it unfolded and why this discussion stood out from so many others. Let's break it all down together.
Because Trump is on this anti-mail-in ballot hobby horse. He votes by mail. Republicans have utilized vote by mail all across the country to their benefit in places like Florida and Utah and elsewhere. And then the Supreme Court says here, including Justice Coney Barrett and Justice Roberts, look, the Mississippi's law is Mississippi's law. If they want to count these ballots after Election Day, they can. And so Trump
states' rights, my brother, states' rights.
Trump is on this, I don't want to say he's on an island, but he is just so obsessed with this one issue as if it is going to solve all of his electoral problems.
I just don't see the
and
problem.
He's getting hit after hit after hit on it.
It is secure.
Look, Abby, I mean,
Do you remember that video in Bridgeport, Connecticut, where one person brought in like 10 ballots?
I agree with the way the court ruled on this, Abby. I think the reality is that I want to have voter ID. I want to limit mail-in ballots. I think that would be healthier for our democracy. But at the same time, a constitution allows the states to determine their own rules for elections. And as Coney Barrett said, it says what the date is of election. It doesn't specify when it should be received by. And so Mississippi has every recourse to change the law if they want.
It's a conservative state. Can we stop?
They can do it anytime they want to.
Exactly. They can go back and change it.
So this isn't something that the elections are not secure.
I'm talking here. So I think the Supreme Court is acknowledging and saying that, look, the state can fix this if they want. So I think they're really right.
That sounds like a period. All right. So can we also now stop pretending that the elections are not secure?
We can stop when they become secure. That's when we can stop doing it.
Where's your evidence that they are not secure?
I think, first of all, the fact that we do not have to show ID is a disgrace. Number two, I will find you videos, including 2024 in Connecticut, when you have on a security camera one person dumping in mail-in ballots.
I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to watch your YouTube video.
Of course you don't want to watch it because it goes against your agenda. But if you opened your eyes and saw something that goes against what you believe, you'll see that it's not secure.
But hold on, Emily.
Don't tell me to open my eyes.
What about a better argument than, oh, it doesn't happen.
Hold on, Emily. Hold on, Charles. Let me just let Emily finish what she was claiming, because you said that there was a video in Connecticut. What's the point of the video?
My point is that mail-in ballots are not secure because they already stand.
Don't try to get off of it now.
Hold on. What's the point of the video in Connecticut that you're talking about? What happened in Connecticut?
One person dumped multiple mail-in ballots.
And then what happened? You said it was on video. So was that person charged?
I don't know.
You don't know? You're telling me that there's massive fraud and it's caught on video and you can't tell me whether it was real or not?
We can look into
whether the person was charged or not?
I really hope he was charged. But how many instances were not caught on camera? I didn't have cameras.
Hold on, Emily.
Did I have cameras? No.
I'm just saying that you're basically...
It is absolutely a conspiracy.
It is a letter. It can be
Listen, I'm just saying, if you have video evidence...
How about you defend the fact that we don't have to show voter ID?
Hold on a second.
First of all, that is a ridiculous thing. So do you believe that actually?
Yeah.
In 50 states, did nobody have to show any ID?
I didn't say nobody. Everyone should be required to show
what are you
voter
saying?
ID.
In which states can you vote and no one knows who you are? You have to show no where you live, nothing. So which states are those?
How many New Yorkers said?
I didn't know answer because you didn't know it.
How many people should I give you a list of names? Let me post on Instagram. Everyone who didn't show ID in the New York election come forward. People will come forward.
Here's the thing.
It's a joke.
You're a joke because you didn't answer that question. You're trying to go around the corner.
Okay, hold on. Go ahead, Ashley.
Even more so if everyone's already doing it.
Hold on, Emily. Hold on, Emily.
The same reason why the Supreme Court ruled in the Watson case today that the state's laws supersede is that's also what happens in the states. So sometimes in states, people actually want your driver's license. In some states, they decide it's mail is sufficient enough.
Exactly.
2 pieces of mail with your name and the address that also matches what is on the voter roll. Sometimes it is that a signature match. There are multiple ways to confirm identity. So the fact that there are no ways to ensure that people are coming in droves and voting illegally is just not the case. And if it is, you would be able to prove it.
But she has videos.
Because people want to prove it so that they can change the election laws.
Yeah,
that would be the best argument for Donald Trump.
This has been going on
the only time
for a long time.
the election has been corrupted most recently was on January 6th when the sitting president would not accept the results of the election.
This has been going on for a long time. And every time we talk about this, I say the same thing. If you have evidence of massive fraud,
prove it.
If you're Emily or you're President Trump, please bring it forward. We would like to see it.
Show
we
it.
would
And
like
the
to
DOJ
analyze.
would like to see it.
We would. We would love to analyze the fraud that is so rampant in this country that it necessitates changing all the laws in order to address it. Because I think if that were the case, it would be right there in front of us, and there would be no question. Everybody would be on the same page about it.
No, I'm
so
sure
far, the Heritage Foundation has tried.
Exactly.
They haven't found it. The president has been president 2 times.
Hasn't
the
found
first
it.
term and the second term. Still
No
hasn't
receipts.
found it. So we're still waiting.
Unless
we're
they're
still
going to
waiting.
save Abby.
All right,
Everyone
next
is-
for
everyone
us.
is showing-
One thing I wish Abby Phillip did more often is challenge guests who make claims without strong evidence. And this discussion was a perfect example. Watching her push back while Charles Blow and Ashley Allison reacted to some of the arguments made for an unforgettable panel. There is one question that kept coming to my mind the entire time, and if I were sitting at that table, it would have been the first thing I asked. If widespread voter fraud is really happening on the scale some people claim, then how do those same claims fit with Donald Trump winning the presidency and Republicans holding significant power in Congress? Following that line of reasoning would mean asking whether Republican victories should also be questioned, since the same election system produced those outcomes. If one party consistently lost every major race for decades, it would make sense for people to start asking tough questions about whether something unusual was happening. But that is not the situation being described here. Republicans have held the White House, controlled both chambers of Congress at different points, and maintained influence over the Supreme Court while advancing many of the policies they support. Given that reality, continuing to argue that the entire system is fundamentally rigged raises obvious questions about how those victories happened in the first place.
What really stood out to me was that Abby Phillip, Ashley Allison, and Charles Blow could point to study after study, court ruling after court ruling, and years of investigations that found no evidence of widespread voter fraud. Yet none of that seemed to change the conversation. Instead, the response often came back to personal belief rather than documented proof. It felt less like debating facts and more like debating feelings. I have said before that some political conversations reach a point where evidence no longer moves the discussion because people rely on what they believe must be true instead of what has been demonstrated. The argument shifts toward possibilities, like what if people simply were not caught, or maybe it happened somewhere without anyone noticing. Those ideas can always be imagined, but the obvious follow-up question is whether there is any evidence supporting them. Without evidence, those possibilities remain speculation rather than proof. That disconnect is what many people find so frustrating, because meaningful debate depends on verifiable information instead of assumptions. After a while, conversations built around unsupported claims can become exhausting, since they rarely move toward a shared understanding of the facts.
Moments like this highlight why productive political discussions can be so difficult. When people disagree not only about opinions, but also about what counts as evidence, it becomes much harder to reach common ground. Personally, I would also like to see more panel discussions that include Republicans willing to defend their positions with detailed arguments and supporting facts. Someone like Thomas Massie, despite the many disagreements people may have with him, often engages in policy discussions that are more substantive and grounded than simply repeating broad claims. Whether or not he would appear on a program like this is another question, but I think debates are most valuable when everyone involved is prepared to support their arguments with evidence. So what do you think after watching this exchange? Do you believe claims of widespread voter fraud have been backed by convincing proof? Or do you think the available investigations and court findings have not substantiated those allegations? If you believe there is compelling evidence, what information do you find most persuasive? Share your perspective in the comments, because respectful debate starts with discussing the facts. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more discussions like this.